Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Chelsea. If you're new, if you're not new, welcome back. I appreciate you coming back. If you are new, hi, how are you? Okay, enough with the intro. Let's get into it. I have a very exciting video for y'all today. I'm so excited. I had the absolute pleasure of interviewing someone who is pretty high up in Monat and still in Monat. Y'all know that when I do these types of interview videos, the person's typically already out of the company. So it's pretty rare that we're able to actually talk to someone who's still in the company. Keep in mind, this is just the Zoom recording, so it's not going to be too professional, but y'all will see clearly the Zoom recording, and I'm very excited about it. She answered a lot of questions, said some problems that she has seen, and she's really trying to, from what it seems like, make change happen from the inside. So I appreciated that, and without further ado, here we go. First, let's say a thank you for even agreeing to speak with me. I appreciate that. I think that shows self-awareness and you just being 100% a bad bitch. And then also, would you, for the record, would you mind stating your name and your occupation and just telling me a little bit about yourself?
My occupation, like all of my occupations?
I know there's a million of them, girl. I'm right there with you.
Well, my name's Angelique, aka I go by Bubba in a Straits. I wear a lot of hats. I do a lot of things. So I have a podcast. I co-host a podcast. I have my own. I also do social media and marketing for, I want to say like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for 6 different companies in California. I work with Monat. I've been doing that for about 3 years. I wrote a children's book.
She's an author.
Yes, she's an author. I do a lot of different things.
You do. You seem very creative and very well-rounded, which is understandable because you are, in fact, a Pisces. So I get it. I get it. I'm right there with you. I do way too many things. You said you've been in Monat for 3 years. What rank are you currently?
So I'm currently a managing market mentor. So I'm 1 rank away from the first director ranks and then 3 ranks away from the top.
Oh,
Of
wow. That is impressive. How do you know how many people you have in your downline?
I want to say I probably have about like 15 level 1s, but then in my entire downline, I probably have over 500. Probably close to like maybe like 800, between 500 and 800 maybe.
Wow. Okay. I personally love your content. I love, I mean, I feel like it's just really, your personality. I think you're hilarious. And obviously a lot of other people do as well. You're not, I'm going to phrase this in the most professional way I can. You're not one of these, you're not what people would expect when they think of a Monat girly.
Yep.
Which is good. Who is your direct upline?
My direct upline was someone who I went to high school with. She actually lived around the block from me my whole entire life. We were friends.
Cute.
And we together like all through high school. So I've known her for forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of sad. Just when you get into business with like somebody who's your friend and it becomes like a, hey, I need you to do this so I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Business wise, it kind of puts a strain on your friendship and it kind of becomes, I think, something it wasn't meant to be, but yeah, her name's Shannon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm very sad to hear that. I'm sorry. It sounds like that was someone who was really like a staple in your life and then getting into business together kind of.
Yeah, like we had talked off and on, and it was weird when a lot of people had messaged me about Monat and other different things.
Mm-hmm.
And with her, she had always been the one, like, she's never going to play about her business, like she always had a job in high school, like really responsible. And I kind of just went. She was like, hey, just meet me for coffee, and I just went because I was like, oh cool, like I'm just down to like hang out with my friend and meet my friend. And when I joined, I joined to like make friends. I didn't, like, my husband had a great job. I wasn't joining to make money. I remember she was like, girl, you can make so much money. I'm like, my husband makes a ton of money. I don't want to. She's like, oh, well, girl, you can you can go on trips. I'm like, I like to stay my fat ass at home. She's like, you could get the car. I'm like, I like my car. She's
Yeah.
like, make friends. I'm like, okay, I like friends. I'm trying to make friends.
Do you know, and you don't have to say this if you're not comfortable with it, this is more just logistically speaking, tax time, we're in it. I was actually just talking to my accountant before we hopped on. Do you know what your profit was for 2000, what year are we in? 21, like profit and loss statement?
So it's funny. I actually just kind of went over this like as a whole, like for, from 2020 to 2022. And my total, like what I've made, it was about 120 something $1,000, $130,000
Mm-hmm.
in those years. And this like literally makes me so sick to my stomach, but the amount that I've spent, I had no idea. And I honestly,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people that get into MLMs, they don't know. And I
Mm-mm.
didn't. And I'm going into my third year. But I looked up just in product alone, like just in product, like this is hair products, skincare, and wellness, which I don't use skincare and I don't use the wellness, but just in all that alone, $20,000. That's a lot of hairspray, bitch.
Girl, you could be like platinum level at Sephora.
Oh, I am almost. I got
Oh,
problems. No, that's a lot. That's a shit ton of freaking dry shampoo and hairspray,
yeah.
and that's wild. It's wild. It makes that. I'm like, that's a fiat, bitch. I'm so mad at myself. I can't.
Is that when, because I saw you posted on Instagram and it was, I think it was like a boomerang or something of you like rolling your eyes or just like with wide eyes and it was like, I'm doing the math. Is that what that
Yep.
was regarding? Okay. I
Yep.
thought I thought
Literally.
so.
And math is not my major in life. Like absolutely not. It's like the least thing. I would rather be in a bikini pageant than have to rely on my math skills. Like that's just not a thing. But when I was doing the math, I was just like literally so disappointed in myself that you get into this like, oh, there's a flash sale, you have to buy it. And, you hear like stock up, this is great. And you can use this for giveaways and, oh my gosh, like you don't want to miss this. And so there's this like rush of like adrenaline and then like, oh my God, I'm in line to get it. And it's very strange. And when you're in it, you don't realize that that's going on. And
Yeah.
I mean, in gear alone, like literally in just clothing, okay, that says Monat that doesn't fit, that's a whole nother story.
Mhm.
$2,000 in gear, literally clothing. That's to me, I'm like pissed. I'm like, cool, that's nice. Yeah.
When it comes to the merch, was that the thing that like kind of popped everything off? Or I mean, even just talk about because their merch is not inclusive at all. Called them out on it, and that's amazing because most people would never do that.
Yeah, so when I first joined this company, I remember the first thing I did was I looked at their merch. When I join something or when I'm on a team or when I'm in a sport, like whatever, like I am loyal to my soil. Like I'm like, I want to I want to represent, maybe it's the West Coast of me, I don't know. But so I looked and it was dreadful. And I was like, ooh, bitch, like this is bad. Like we got to help, we got to pray over it, we got to do something. It's wrong. And then literally like within that same year is when they launched like, oh my gosh, we have Monat here and it's going to be awesome and it's going to help you rep your business and all these things. And I was kind of like, okay, cool. But again, it wasn't size inclusive. And even if it was, it didn't fit. It wasn't sized correctly. And so,
Yeah.
and it was expensive. It's like 40 to $50 for a shirt, sometimes 60 if it's like a long sleeve shirt, which is wild to me. I'm like, is this Urban
Girl,
Outfitters? I'm like, this is
that's
wild.
that's the cost of Skims. Like they are not Kim
Yeah.
K, okay? They are not Kimmy. And her stuff is very size inclusive, which is
Yep.
I,
Yep.
girl,
Exactly.
I just copped some of that swimwear. Your
I
girl,
saw the blue one was
you
everything on you.
girl, you gotta get it. It's so fucking good.
It
I
was
have it.
fire.
It's so good.
I actually just watched one of my favorite TikTokers. Her name's Suarez. She's a plus size girl, and she was like, "I got the Skims," and she's holding it up. She's like, "Bitch, this is not gonna fit." And then the next clip, she has it on. She's like, "How the hell does this fit? This feels
Mhm.
so good. It feels like my skin. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn it. Okay, I gotta try it.
It's so,
Um,
so good.
it was funny when I first went to my first Monet like event thing. When I first joined, like it was like my first week I joined, I drove an hour away 4 times that week to go to different events. Like I was in it, and the first one I went to was like this out there was like this outdoor like lunch thing. There's this long table when I first walked in, and again, I have no makeup on. I'm just my hair's in a bun, and there's all these like Caucasian people at this table, and they got these fucking hats on, and I'm like, what? And they're all eating salads, and I'm like, what the fuck is? I literally was like, told myself, what in the Aryan Nation is happening on this day? And my upline is like half black, half white, and I'm half white too. And so I was like, I texted her. I was sitting next to her. I was like, bitch, where you got me out on this day? Like, hell no. I'm like, and do I gotta order a salad, or can we eat food real life? And she's like, no,
Girl,
you
pull up. Let's get a corn dog. Let's go.
okay. Like I'm trying to get some nachos, bitch. And everyone was so nice. And I had felt bad for kind of judging and being a little bit scared. Everybody was super nice, very friendly. A couple of people that spoke that night were not nice, were kind of just rude and off-putting. But for the most part, everybody was really nice. And I was like, wow, like all these girls are friendly. Like this is so cool. Like I love this community. It's changed a little bit. It's changed a little bit since then. But that's how I kind of popped in. And then I liked to represent, and I wanted to be inclusive. And I was like, yeah, like, and especially when you go to like Monations, for example, there's so many different people from all walks of life. Like
Yeah.
there's like almost like grandmas, there's like older women, younger women, like there's some people who are like literally Mennonites, where they wear like the bonnets and the like like there's
That's
such a diversity.
that's another
And,
issue that I have.
and
The
I'm like,
Men Mennonites who recruited the first one.
there's like a whole Mennonite team, and they are killing the shampoo game. I'm like, damn,
Girl.
like y'all are some thugs. But so I was like, okay, like we're all diverse. Like this is awesome. Like there's a place for me here. But on the West Coast, particularly, it's very much I feel like it's one type of look, one type of vibe. And I try very hard to show people that you don't have to look a certain way. You don't have to act a certain way. Like you can still be yourself and do this.
Mhm.
But it's been very hard to kind of get my foot in to try to promote change. Sometimes I feel like I have to be a little bit disruptive in order to do that, like showcase like, hey, this is actually not working. Hopefully I can help change it. I am trying to get more people inclusive, like the stories that I get from people about how I can only buy accessories, or why like I don't look like, this person or this person. And I'm like, fuck them. Like, you don't have to look like anybody. Like, you can look like your fucking self. It's been a battle, but hopefully, I mean, I'm hoping that it ends somewhere good, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's good that you are at least trying to make change from within. I mean, there's a lot of people trying to make change from the outside. I mean, that's what I've been trying to do, and it's hard. I mean, yeah, I've helped a lot of people get out of Monat, and
Mhm.
just not join it in general. And
Mhm.
obviously, that's my goal. But I think I mean, I resonate with what you're saying completely. It's sometimes you do have to be disruptive, but also even what you just said, saying, oh, hey, this isn't working. And any other type of normal, for lack of a better word, but normal type of company or organization, they would want you to tell them when something isn't working so that they could
Right.
fix it, right? So even just that of me saying that something isn't working as being disruptive is like, that like that's not saying you're not right. Obviously, your feelings are valid, yes, and you're very valuable, and I love you. But the the thing is that's part of the problem. The feeling of I can't speak up
Mhm.
because it's working for so many people, or I'm going to be seen as a hater, or the us versus them mentality. And it's like, no, I can respect you, I can love you, I can follow you. I mean, there's even a top rep in Arbonne, and I follow her, and I think she is hilarious. Like I die laughing at some of her stuff just like I do with you. I love her style. I love your style. I mean, what y'all put out there is hilarious, and I can still share your reels and stuff. I've just shared like 2 of yours, and I actually just was going through my DMs, and I had a few people message me back and they were like, "Oh my God, I love her. She's so hilarious." And I was like, "Yeah, me too." Instead of, getting mad at me or being like, "Oh my God, well, they're in an MLM." And it's like, okay, doesn't mean they're bad people. It's not them. It's the industry. It's the company. You're not wrong. Just please know that. I know you know that, but I just have to tell you that.
I
Did
appreciate that.
Of course, yeah. When you were like first speaking out about that, or really, because I didn't get to see like the stuff at first. I had everyone's and their mother send it to me, and I was trying to find it and stuff. But what happened with a certain senior executive director? Everyone was saying that I say everyone, but I saw on social media that she was like mean to you or something because you spoke out or because you were saying something. Would you mind like explaining that just a little bit, obviously to your comfort level?
Right. Yeah. So in the very beginning, before I joined, this person had reached out to me to join her in her business. I was interested. Like we had kind of chatted back and forth, but a couple of things had gone on that I was kind of like, I'm not. I don't know if I don't know if I'm crazy about this. One in particular is I sent her 2 copies of my children's book, one for her daughter, and then one for her to do like a giveaway.
Hmm,
And
nice.
a couple months passed and I'm like, hey, like, because we had bonded originally because we had gone both through like struggling to get pregnant and have kids. And then I was asking her about the process of adoption. And so then when the book thing, I sent her 2 books. She was going to do a giveaway. And then when I had asked her like about like, oh, hey, like, when do you think, you're going to do the giveaway? So I can go ahead and, let people know. And she was like, oh my gosh, like, I feel so bad I lost the books. And I'm like, okay, like, she's like, well,
Both
let
of
me
them?
yeah, I'm like, she's like, let me pay you for them. I'm like, no, it's all right. Like, no worries. Like, kind of like I've learned my lesson. I don't know. That kind of just was like a huge like turn off. And then, she started talking to me about, her business and joining her and all these things. And I had just gone to like, and I hadn't signed up yet. I had just gone to like some like Monat thing, like just to kind of see what it was about. And they took a picture, like a group picture of us. And I was like, well, let me take the picture. I'm not even in your guys' thing. They're like, no, like get in. So somebody had posted that picture. And the next morning she messaged me like, hey, that's kind of sucky, or that sucks that you couldn't like tell me. I had to find out by like looking at a picture online that you joined under somebody, but that's the name of the game. I wish you the best, whatever. And I was like, I haven't even signed up. Like I haven't even done anything yet. Like, what the hell? So there's been a couple different situations where, because she is an SCD and she's kind of like this big wig in this company, a lot of people encourage me like, well, don't say anything, because I'm the type of person like, if you loke the fuck up to me, I'm gonna loke the fuck up to you. Like
Mhm.
that's just how I've always gotten down.
Yeah.
And I get mad at myself because I was like, I listen to everybody because I'm like, I'm joining this thing. Like, I don't want to start off on the wrong foot. They're very much like, no, like, kill her with kindness, like, and I'm just not that way. But so I listened, and then this situation happened where, we all got kind of all like, there was like this training for people who hit a certain rank and did a certain thing, and but in this chat that we were in, like, and not everybody could talk, like, or but only the leaders could talk to each other. And so it was kind of strange. I was like, that seems and I'm not really kind of down with that.
Yeah.
um and so I was like, I don't really like that. I'm gonna ask when we're on a call, I'm gonna ask about it. So I did in the chat, because on the calls you're muted, nobody can speak,
Which
and there's only
I can kind of understand that, because a lot of times people are dumb and don't know to mute themselves and all that.
yes.
Like, okay, if the chat was disabled, that's another story, just like
Right.
how the text chat was disabled for y'all, which is dumb.
Right. I mean, I didn't understand it. I've never been like, I'm in a chat with 11,000 people and it's muted. So I get that. That's a lot of freaking people. But this one, there was like 80 people. So I'm like, I don't understand why, and if it was just like, because she had said, oh, well, we're just putting information in there. But no, you guys are all talking to each other. So it seems very pretentious and like, watch us talk to each other, but you
Yeah.
guys, you don't care what you, I don't know, it's very weird. So I just asked, literally, I asked in the Zoom call, I asked in the chat, like, hey, is there any way like we could turn the chat on so that we can like talk? Because I hate not being able to ask a question or engage with people. And to her, that was very kind of rude. So after the call, she after the call, she sent me like a very not nice text message. And she was kind of like, hey, like, that your question was rude. We're doing this out of the goodness of our hearts. If you don't like it, basically you can leave. And I was kind of like, whoa, like, this is the third time that you've been an asshole to me, and I'm not going to just be quiet anymore. And so we kind of had it out via text message. And I know the kind of person that she is. And there's a lot of them, unfortunately, in a lot of multi-level marketing, these people that get to the top and then they think that, oh, because I have a lot of followers, or I have a big team, that they can kind of treat people, very rude and disrespectful. And
Yeah.
I just had enough of it. And so I took to social media and I shared it and I knew I wasn't the only one. And I wasn't. Like, my DMs were flooded.
Would you, I mean, from what you're telling me, it sounds like, and to preface, I don't fuck with that type of person either. You think you're too good for, oh, I'm sorry, you got a little bit of money. You got a little bit of money and now you're wearing a Versace robe, and for some reason all of them sound fucking congested, which is real weird. It's like, why are all y'all sound the same? What are you doing? Oh my God, it's so annoying. Anyways, so yeah, just I don't care if you have $0, $1,000,000, or $1 billion with a B dollars. Class has nothing to do with money and has everything to do with how you treat people who can do nothing for you. And these
Mhm.
women, and a lot, not most, because it's really just 1%, in network marketing, do not treat people well, and it's really unfortunate. But that type of environment is really just thrives in network marketing, which is unfortunate. Would you say that you experienced the, like, us versus them type of mentality, when not you, but like you experienced that, and that's how they were kind of treating, or she was treating it?
Oh, for sure. And again, like, and there was a lot of manipulation on her part when, we were at like a truce. Like, corporate had got involved because they had, got wind of what was going on of my videos. And they were like, hey, like, can we kind of be at a truce? We spoke with her, she's sorry, and then we'll eventually get on a call and we'll all talk, whatever. Okay, cool, we're at a truce. But then she went and she made a video and she kind of popped off again. And I felt like, and I messaged corporate right away and I was like, listen, Linda. I'm like, I'm gonna pop the fuck off. Like, y'all need to. And they were like, no, 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 no. Like, please don't respond. Like, please, 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 we'll fix it. We'll fix it. We'll fix it. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, you need to get her to take it down or whatever, because, whatever. And I was kind of asked, don't respond. And again, I'm not that way, and I don't like feeling like I have to be quiet. So I eventually responded and did like a thing on like my Patreon, but I didn't mention names, I didn't show faces, I did it because, according to, like, and this is what I want to change. Like, I want to change policies and procedures within the company, because according to them, the text messages that she sent, as assholey and dick as she was, they weren't against policies and procedures. And I'm like, well, that's the fucking problem right there. Like, you can't just text people in this business, especially, you're supposed to be this great leader at the top of a company. Like, you can't just text people and be a dick and then get upset when people pop the fuck off. Like,
Yeah.
but I feel like her problem is that people don't ever pop the fuck off to her. So she's gotten used to be able to speak to people and act however she wants. You know what I mean?
Completely, and that's something that we've been seeing with people like Mandy Sue Styles. I can't say her name without just my eyeballs rolling in the back of my head. With her, and then Angela Sumner, which she's obviously like middle-ish ranked.
That
She's
bitch is crazy. That bitch is literally, she done
you
lost it.
you are correct.
That bitch has lost it.
That
And
is
I
the
am
correct
1%
answer.
Jewish, and that shit offended the fuck out of my Jewish ass, my Mexican ass, all of my ass. She done pop. I have talked back and forth with corporate so much about her, because, number one, her whole fat people are the reason for the pandemic and whatever, whatever. Like, first of all, I will punch you in the fucking face with my fucking arm fat. Like, shut the fuck up. I just don't understand how somebody wears the company logo on a thing and says something like that, and it's kind of like something needs to be done. And that's the part where when I've talked to compliance and I've expressed my concerns, I'm like, listen, on our end, people who are watching the anti-MLM
Hmm.
community, the whatever community, they're seeing someone behave this way and still get to represent the company.
Yeah.
That is a problem.
Well,
That's not okay.
obviously it's frustrating, the, blatant racism, the fat phobia, just the treating people in general like garbage, the misinformation, the just all the xenophobia, all of that, right? The ridiculous microaggressions. All of that's horrible from the outside. As someone who's still in it, and not calling you desperate, but in the actual definition of the term, desperately wants to see change
Mhm.
from within the company. How do you feel about that? I mean, just talk a little bit about that if you can.
You know, it's very hard, especially as I'm not somebody who's a blind follower. Like, a bitch got questions. Like, when they're like, oh, you're a ride or die. It's like, listen, I'm a ride, but I'm not going to die. And I got questions. Are we going to stop for snacks? Like, I just don't fucking just follow people blindly. And I feel like that's a problem for any multi-level marketing community. I think that because I truly do want change, I feel like I've just been so tolerant of so much stuff that I feel like I'm not really anymore. And I feel like you turned a blind eye to so many things because I've watched so many documentaries about cult shit and weird, and I'm like, as I'm watching it, I'm screaming at the TV. I'm like, you fucking dummy. Like, how are you going to be in a cult, bitch? Like, you don't got a question. But yet I'm in this situation where I'm like thinking and reflecting on all these red flags or things that I see or things that are said. And I'm
Yeah.
like, how are you just like, how am I still doing this and still in this? I'm really hoping to promote change, but it's getting very uncomfortable the more knowledge and the more self aware that I am to my surroundings and what's going on. It literally seems like an uphill battle. It seems like something that I don't know. Before in the beginning, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna promote change. It's gonna be great. And then as it just continues and continues, and I'm in it, and things that I didn't even think were bad, like now I'm like, holy shit, this is so toxic. Like, I didn't
Mhm.
know anything about toxic positivity. I didn't know anything about love bombing. And I'm like, oh my God, I am such a sucker for so many things that go on in this. And so many, like, I have an open team called the 99,
Mhm.
and where I've kind of, which already people don't like. People don't
Yeah.
like that I pour into people and it doesn't benefit me. They don't like that I do trainings for people and it doesn't benefit me.
Yeah, because 'cause they're not on
Um,
your team.
Exactly, yeah, and so, um, it's so hard for me, like, we just had a flash sale because we have them every 5 seconds. So we just had a flash sale, and it's very much when there's these flash sales, "Oh my god, purchase," like, again, 20,000 fucking dollars later, okay?
Yeah.
But I'm telling these girls, I'm like, "Do not you don't" one girl was like, "I'm trying to purchase 2 of the flash sales, but it's not working, like, do I have to do 2 separate orders?" And I was like, "Listen, if you want to, yes, you do have to do 2 separate orders, but I don't want anybody on here to feel like they have to purchase. Like, if you have product, use your product. Don't you don't have to keep purchasing flash sales. Like, I know there's this FOMO that they pump into these chats and in the air, but it's not, you don't have to do it, okay? And it was
Ooh.
kind of a real culture shock for all the girls because they were like, "Wait, what? Like, we've never been told we don't have to do this. Like, this
Yeah,
is like,
girl,
you."
their uplines probably hate you, the fact that
Oh,
you
100%.
said
Oh,
that, because
I have voice notes from some of these big uplines with the nasally voices and no bras that absolutely hate my open team. But most of my team is their downline that gets left in the dust. They get mass recruited, and then if they don't take off running, then they don't matter. They're just a
yeah.
stepping stone.
Yeah, I mean, those are the same people that, I mean, obviously have, like, sold their soul, which is ironic because of their username,
Uh-huh.
because their soul is apparently salvaged.
Yeah.
It's not. And even, I mean, we even talked about that in my last top fails video about how sad that aspect of it is that, I mean, even that person, her own sister got out of the company and, like, was doing good, and then was sucked back in by
Uh-huh.
her own sister. And you could just, like, some of the shit she was saying in that last video, girl, she said that any of our mental illnesses are not of God. So, which also she said mental illnesses. It's like, what are these? No, no. Any of our mental illnesses are not of God. So we just have to turn to God and pray about it. Listen, I love Jesus, but he ain't he's that ain't gonna help. I pray every night. And
Listen, I
but
love
it's
Jesus more than a lot, but a bitch still need fucking Lexapro, bitch. Like, I'm sorry.
she said that, and then that it's like demonic spirits and like bad karma and our pasts coming to get us. And I'm like, what in the spooky karma ghost are you talking about? But it's all for money, recruiting that type of person who clearly isn't doing well back into what you are doing it's a lack of not only morals, ethics, but just a lack of a soul essentially. And it's really unfortunate. Do this is a question that a lot of people ask, and I go back and forth as well. Do you think that these people at the top of the company, do you think that they know that it is a pyramid scheme, or that they know that most people below them are losing money? Or do you think that they are oblivious to it, or that they know and they don't care because they make so much money? Like Jacqueline Ortega, who made $3.5 million only last year.
Oh, don't even get me started on those fucking Miami people, because they cheat the system and they cheat the game like nobody's fucking business. And I can't even hate, because it's borderline genius, because it's smart. So what those, again, allegedly, maybe, perhaps,
It's all
I don't know.
speculation.
Yeah.
Allegedly, on my own opinion, hashtag please don't sue me. Also, keep in mind, any uplines who are watching, because I know they watch, that's fine, go off. But this is all Angelique's own experience, and
Yes.
her experience and her story is true to her. So it is not defamation, it is not libel, it is not slander. If you think that it is, come for me and not her, because I am putting it on my YouTube channel, and I will take that and I will wipe my ass with it. How has it been alleged to you that they cheat the system?
So to me, it was told to me, and it was from one of the original founders, not founders, one of the original market partners, who is actually, so Jacqueline is actually under her, and how she
Is it
explained,
Anne?
no.
That woman she is crazy to watch. Keep going.
Oh,
Sorry.
I love Anne, and that's what's so hard, is that I genuinely love so many of these people, but then when as I'm seeing their behaviors and things that they're saying and doing, I'm like, this is not right. Like, this
Well,
is not right.
see, it's girl that's in that, and I hate to say this, but it's cognitive dissonance. That's what this is.
Yeah.
Now, you're in a battle with yourself, and it's not that these people are bad. It's not that you are bad. I think you're an
Right.
amazing person. You're still in Monat. That's okay. But it's the fact of, there are amazing people in these companies. There are garbage human beings in
Right.
these companies.
Hmm.
But it's undue influence. They are saying things and acting in a certain way, behaving this way, and they wouldn't do all that if they weren't under this influence of this company and this culture and the money and the cult, essentially.
Right. And so with Jacqueline, so how these Miami girls, how they do it, again, it's fucking smart. And I I almost am like jealous by how they do it. So once you hit a certain rank, or once you're going for a certain rank, I want to say it's like AMM and up, you get put into like this chat or this pool. And so they say, okay, cool. So part of your bonus now is going to go into this pool, is going to go into this account or whatever. And then at the end of the month, we use the money from this pool to stack and to buy packs and to put whatever it is that we need to, so all of us can hit our rank. So the end of the month is so wild in network marketing. It's so literally, it's like, because you have to have your team hit these certain ranks. You need to have this MMP, you have to have this MMB, you have to have all this stuff, right? So imagine at the end of the month, or I was trying to hit director for like years. So for almost like 2 years. So it's like, imagine if I just put in part of my bonus check, 2 grand, I would get $5,000 if I hit AED. If I put in 2 grand, okay, or $2,500 into this pool, and then we just dispersed it to where it needed to go. So then I hit my rank, and then my upline, she gets to hit a new rank, and then that upline gets to hit a new rank, and we all put in money. To me, I'm like, I'd rather fucking do that because it's so stressful to have to keep recruiting and then you push people to hit these ranks, or like, hey, could you have somebody to sign up here, or you need a market partner, or you need like, it's such a mind fuck, and it's this crazy game of chess which people don't realize. People think that they can get into a network marketing company and that it's all going to happen organically and you're going to organically whatever. That's not it. It's a
No.
huge game of mind fuck chess. But so these Miami girls, that's how they all do it. They all do it that way. And they don't, that's why you don't see a lot of them on leaderboards unless they have this crazy huge following on
Yeah.
social media. Um, because, and some of them, they don't qualify for the trips, but they just pay to go onto the trips. And on social media, they make it look like they qualified for a trip. It's all about the bait and switch and smoke and mirrors. And it drives me fucking insane.
Yeah, and see, I mean, that's what I've been and a lot of other people, and I always say this too, that's what my content is about, is pulling back the curtain essentially.
Yeah.
And trying real hard to show you, listen, what happens on these opportunity calls, on these Instagram slides, when they're so nice to you and love bombing you and promising you the world, that's not the reality once you're in it. So
Mm,
the opportunity call is completely different than those team calls, and that's why I sneak into all these, which is fascinating. I fucking love sneaking into them, but I want to always make sure that it's transparent. And people say, "Oh, well, it's not a scam," and it's like, but if you're being promised something, but then that you're not getting that thing once you pay to join, because you do pay to join, and the reality is completely different than what you're promised, what is that then? That's a
right.
scam. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's fucking crazy. I cannot believe that they do that. A lot of us were pretty aware that they were buying ranks because we saw the chats.
Mhm.
But
But that's what that was when that chat got released.
yeah.
There was a girl in Miami, and but that was it. She was like, okay guys, like so and so's only 4,000 away from 4,000, like money wise away from this rank, and then it'll be you guys next time, and we'll all put in for you, and blah 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 blah. But that's very, and she got suspended for a month, and her pay, she didn't get her paycheck that month. But this is what's crazy, but yet she still spoke at Monations.
Yep.
She still does trainings talking about, okay, yeah, you guys just have to do this, and it's about manifestation. It's like, no, you're lying to these people so that you can mass recruit these people, sell them a bullshit dream. Unless you're starting out the gate with a large following on social media, I'm sorry, a stay-at-home mom with 2 kids who's thinking that this is going to be the opportunity that changes her life, more than likely, it probably won't. There's a
Yeah.
98% chance it's not going to, because that's just the way that it's designed. But they sell this false dream, and I feel like it taints the company that I actually like. Like, you're tainting it. And that's where I get pissed off. And I hate that nobody talks about this shit. But I'm like, to me, I'm like, and maybe it's the Pisces in me, but I'm like, this is the only way we're going to fix it, is if we stop the bullshit and we just start fucking talking about and bringing this shit to light.
That's why, I, instead of me being someone that they see as stating facts, even if they know what I'm saying is true, and still showing things that they posted are actually, this is false. Here's why. Here are these facts. Here are these statistics. And here's blah, 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 and all this shit. I'm still a hater, jealous, broke, which I'm not broke. I make more money than 99% of people in Monat, which is
Yeah.
fine. And that's not what this is about. But it's like, also the contents of my wallet has nothing to do with the conversation of if this is a scam or not, which it is. And that I'm this, that, the other, bully, mean, tearing women down. Am I tearing women down, or am I trying to save you and this, women in general? And not even just women. I don't care what you identify as.
Right.
Anyone from being taken advantage of financially and spending money to make money. And yes, you typically do have to do that in an actual business. Other businesses, kind of a YouTube channel. I mean, typically upgrade as you go, but not with an MLM. You should not have to, or an actual job, a
Mhm.
1099 contracted salesperson. You should not have to spend money to make money. and in Monat specifically, and MLMs obviously, but this one specifically, you do have to. Have you had a lot of them, like, have you seen more support or received more support, or have you received more people, like, blocking you and talking shit and saying that you're, like, a hater and you're wrong and blah, blah, blah?
No, I've received so much support. I've received, I want to say, and here's the thing: the people who I feel like do block me or unfollow me, they're people who feel convicted, and it's very few and far between that have unfollowed me and or blocked me. But the support is astronomical. Like I never
Good.
imagined that me using my voice, and I almost get mad at myself for not doing it sooner, because I feel like it's helping so many other people who feel the same way but aren't as brave to stand up or to say, hey, like I love this company, I love the products, but this fucking sucks. Like why is this, or why are people lying about the car program? The car program's kind of cool anyway, but so why are they saying you get a free car? Why are they saying that you get this? And I've said that many times to corporate, like, or when I have my girls that repost something like, get a free Cadillac. It's like, no, bitch, that shit is not fucking free. You have to work, you have to maintain it. And guess what? When you don't, because I'm not actively recruiting or anything right now, like I'm technically in the car program, but I'm not getting paid for my car anymore. But here's where they get you is, so when I was getting my car, you know, you get so excited, like, oh my God, I qualified, like I go look for my car. And so people get into these brand new, you know, top of the line, all the bells and whistles, they get into these vehicles that, guess what, now you are having to be a slave to this company, because if that
Yep.
paycheck goes away, if you don't maintain it, then you're fucked. Then you're not going to be able to afford your car payment, which there's people in my downline who have that same situation. They have $1,000, $900 car payment, right? And so if they don't keep their thing, they're fucked up. So thank
Yeah.
God for my husband, who, when I was wanting to get I'm literally looking at Suburbans, and he's like, bitch, it's literally me and you. Who the fuck are we putting in this car? Because you don't even like people. I'm all, that's true.
Yeah.
Who, what, like, what am I going to put, my two dogs? Like, they don't even need that room. We're getting a used car. We're making sure that if Monat, whatever, that we can take care of the car payment, and it's not going to put us into financial ruin. And but then you get involved with these girls who work at the Cadillac dealership, and their dad's the car salesman selling you the car, so they want you to get the most expensive, and it just becomes this shit show. And again, I feel like if we could talk about it without people being like, oh my gosh, it's like, cool, you can find a nice used Cadillac car and work on your credit beforehand. Like I was working on my credit when I knew I was going to qualify, so that I could make it so it wasn't this fucking
Yeah.
crazy, oh my God, I lost my rank, I'm so stressed. Like, no, I can still take care of my car payment, and it's not that big a deal.
It's a marketing tool
Hmm.
for them, and I've heard a lot of girls say that to me specifically, like, yeah, about the car program. When you get it, you're seen as like this weird trophy to your upline and to other people's uplines, and they like use you essentially in your like tangible success then, since you can't talk about the dollar amounts, your tangible success, to then like be like, oh yeah, well this person got this and this person got this, and oh my god, she's so amazing, and look at that. And it's just like you're seen as like a trophy then, and they're like, yeah, it was really really weird. These people who don't talk to me were then using my success, you know, trying to recruit more people under them or under that person.
Oh yeah, I definitely feel that people, it's weird, like, and I wanted the stigma to change, but it's very like, okay, cool, well, if you don't have the car, then you're not successful. Well, and then once you have the car, well, if you're not a director, you're not successful. And then when they have shares that come out, well, if you didn't earn the shares, you don't earn the trips. If you don't have that, it's never a sense of contentment. It's always like you have to keep going. And if you stay stagnant, like, I mean, MMM, again, I was told it's like the top 2% of the company or 1% of the company, and it turns out it's like 0.08% or something even more wilder than I thought.
Yeah.
But I mean, and yeah, as a competitive within myself person, I'm like, yeah, I would love to be director. I would love to hit that next rank and, you know, make more money. And then more so because I feel like you get a bigger impact on things like gear or changing
Hmm.
stuff because you're a director. But there came a point where I was like, you know what? I'm a successful MMM and I'm blessed, and it's still okay. But then you get on these calls from these top people and they're like, well, if you're staying at the same rank, then your business is dying. If you're staying at the same rank and you're content, then that's not good. And it's like, bitch, like fuck you, because you're at where you're at because I'm maintaining my shit.
Yep.
So calm the fuck down, Oprah.
And it's crazy. I mean, even that you're able to maintain that rank. I mean, how long have you been at that at your specific rank at MMM?
So I've maintained it since I've hit it, but I want to say these
Wow.
past 3 months, I haven't. I haven't maintained it. So your career rank, you have to go a whole year without hitting it again to lose your career rank.
Okay.
Your paid as rank is whatever you that month, whatever you finish as. So I haven't, and so a couple months ago, I was going to be paid as AMM, but I was like, again, for not working my business at all, that's not crazy bad because I've worked and I've built this kind of machine that kind of just runs on its own.
Yeah.
But it was the day before the last of the month, and I got a text from my upline, and it was like, "Girl, you don't want to be paid as AMM. Like, okay, who can we reach out to? Whatever." And I was like I got this like crazy sense of things. Like, we were literally at home watching a movie. I was totally fine, like not paying attention to my business, like not worried about it. And then I got this message, and it was kind of like, "Oh my God, you're going to be paid as this." And I had such bad anxiety. And then all of a sudden, I found myself in the trap again. I'm texting girls that I haven't even talked to in a whole month, being like, hey, where you at, like just phony shit, and that's
Yeah.
not me, and I hate that, and I don't want to participate in that again, like, and it's just wild to me.
I can definitely understand that. I mean, that's your feelings are 100% valid. I know I've said that multiple times too, but they very much so are. And again, it's the looking at their motive, right? They're only saying that,
Right.
as you said, so that they can maintain their rank. They are
Hmm.
nothing without you. If you aren't do like they're you are essentially responsible for what they are allowed to do. So
Yeah.
it's a definitely a messed up system for sure. What's the update with corporate? I mean, have they said, I mean, anything about like they're doing anything with the, issues, the even the merch, or with, Christina Smallwood? Are they doing anything or no?
So we actually had a phone call the other day, and I talked to the man I talked to in corporate, which again, he really wants change, and he talks about the anti-MLM community, and he's like, they're partly right about the things that they bring up and they expose. He's like, but I want to change that. Like, I want it to be better than what it is, and so I feel like we both really want that to happen. How, I don't know. And I did have a call with Monat Gear, and I'm trying to help them with accurate sizing. And I just kind of shared my heart. I'm like, listen, when women and men, but when people feel represented, like magical shit can happen when people
Hmm.
feel seen. I mean, and I brought this up. I'm like, look at Mattel. Like, at first you have this, classic Barbie doll, or even Disney, like, why do you think there's so many different type of Disney princesses? Is because they want that child to see themselves as that character,
Hmm.
because it sparks something in them. And you can literally spark like this crazy dream by somebody just being able to see themselves as a character that can literally foreshadow the rest of their life. And again, that might be the Pisces in me being so fairy
Yeah.
tale and imaginative, but I truly believe that. And I think that that's the same thing with being seen, and something as simple as like, wow, this company sees my body type and that it matters, and that I can rep this company with pride, or whatever. So it's baby steps forward. And then as far as I like, again, like, I'd like to change policy and procedures to where we're more protected, because I feel like as quote unquote independent contractors, we're not. So that's kind of where we're at, where we're on the same page with what we want, but it's just, how are we going to put it forward into practice?
I'm not gonna lie, you had me about to like tear up.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, that's just the Pisces in me about to
Yeah, huh.
fucking.
Yeah. Oh yeah, girl.
I literally just checking my my Ovia app. I'm like, am I about to start my period? What's happening to me? I agree with you there. I think that the change obviously needs to come from the inside. Being a realist, unfortunately, I
Right.
don't think that's gonna happen. But I mean, I think that you're amazing for at least trying to make that happen. And I think, I mean, you even having a conversation and being willing to, like I said, I mean, that shows the fact that there can be a conversation. You know, it's
Mhm.
not like it's us versus them. You know, it's not you're either with us or you're against us, not to quote Gaston, but through the mist and the woods, through the darkness and the shadows, baby girl. The nightmare, but it's one exciting ride.
But that's the thing too, is I feel like there's such a, oh my God, don't follow anti-MLM. I'm like, first of all, I as a true crimer, okay, as a detective myself, like I love when somebody is into facts, into receipts, is into, investigative work. I love all that stuff. So I love there's so many things that I have learned from the anti-MLM community and friendships that I've made from the most incredibly supportive and beautiful women. It's not me, us versus them and their whatever. That's not it at all. And the most people I've met, they're not against the women in the community. They're
Mm,
and the MLMs, they're against the MLMs as a structure. And one thing they've all said is, I really hope that you can help change it. Don't think it's going to happen because and I find myself, as I've watched so many stories of people who have gone through this sort of cycle, like oh my God, I'm so successful, and then oh my gosh, I realize, like, am I in a cult or what the hell is going on? Okay, well, I can change it, it can be so amazing. And then they kind of get met with resistance, and then they quit or they get terminated, and then it's like, well, now I'm trying to get people out because it's so I feel like I'm in this wheel, and I'm hoping for change, but
yeah.
I love that I'm supported either way. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, at least from this side of it, I hope that you are also met with it on the other side. Again, you know, just proper expectations. We don't want your, you know, your strong Pisces heart to get broken. I definitely think, you know, you are someone, like I said before, that can make change happen. You are a bad bitch. But also, you know, it's not just the you know, the company that we have an issue with. It's the whole cult aspect too. And it's funny that you actually
Mhm.
mentioned that, you know, you love true crime and, you know, this and that, because that's actually almost exactly Roberta Blevins' story of how she got out of LuLaRoe. You know,
Mhm.
she was watching the Scientology and the Aftermath show with Leah Remini, which you actually remind me a lot of her. And I
That's a huge
obviously
compliment. I love her.
Obviously, me too. She's one of my idols for sure. I look up to her immensely. I think it's so funny that, you know, you're kind of going through these motions too. And if you haven't talked to Roberta yet, I do highly suggest that you do, because she was watching Scientology in the Aftermath and she was like, "Oh my God, how can these people, you know, say this or do this or just, you know, not notice this?" And she watched another episode and another one and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm in a cult." It was LuLaRoe, and you know, people think, oh well, it's different. You know, they had leggings, we have shampoo, and it's like, I hate to tell you this, it's not different.
Right.
So it's just more of the same. Do you have any final words that you'd like to share?
Just thank you. Thank you for having this conversation. Thank you for everything that you do. The more I learn about you and watch your stuff, the more I absolutely love you. I think you're just such an incredible person. And I hope anybody that's listening or watching this, I just hope that you know that, through all of this, my main goal is, and it's always been before Monet, it'll be after Monet, it's been during Monet, is I want people to know how worthy and how beautiful and how incredible they are, in spite of where they come from or the thoughts that they think or what's been told to them. I truly do think that everyone is built and created for an incredible purpose, and in spite of their circumstances or what they've gone through. And I was hoping that, and that's, if anything, through Monet, it's been this awesome platform for me to be able to talk to and lend confidence to so many women, and I'll always be grateful for that. And I just hope that change can actually come. I hope that. And if not, then I'm still going to keep trekking forward, but I hope that change does come.
I love that so much. And see, I'm not just a hater with a broke mindset and a mean, jealous bully.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely not.
Just
Absolutely not.
just an assertive female, just like you are, who doesn't
Mhm.
sugarcoat shit and wants to see change and wants to protect people and remind them of how valuable they are. But I will also roast you and make fun of you.
Exactly. Like, I love Jesus, but I will punch a hoe.
Yeah, even though you
Yeah.
girls, even though I know how you girls like to tussle. Tell the people where to find you. Where do they find you?
So you guys can find me at French Fries and Fairy Tales on my Instagram. And then I do also have a YouTube, but it's not like a real life like thing. It's like kind of crazy, but same thing at French Fries and Fairy Tales. Podcast is Curvy Conversations. And we have an episode out every Friday, and that's also on Patreon as well. And that's wherever podcasts are, where they're not exposed, where you can listen to them. It should be everywhere. And then I also co-host a podcast called Nashville. My friend Rocky Nash, who's incredibly annoying, but I love him. So, yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All right, y'all. I really hope you enjoyed that interview. I know I did. I think she really answered a lot of my questions that I had and was really able to shed light on some sketchy things that are very wrong that are happening in Monat. Not only in Monat, obviously, in a lot of MLMs, but specifically in Monat. Feel free to follow her podcasts, plural, her Instagram. I personally think she's hilarious. I really like Angelique. I think she is a breath of fresh air and just hilarious, honestly, and someone that I can relate to. Speaking of podcasts, feel free to rate, subscribe, listen to mine. That is Down a Rabbit Hole with CCsuarez. You can find that wherever you listen to podcasts, and then also on my YouTube channel as well. Like, subscribe, and comment. And then also, if you want to, follow me across all social media at I am CCsuarez. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, night, weekend, whenever you're watching this. Change starts at home. Change starts with a conversation. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.